Basically, I was living in a dumpy little town in Florida called Hialeah, and that's where I was working at the only job I ever had that was worth a hoot, at a record store. It was called Open Books and Records in North Miami Beach. And one day, a young lady named Kathy Kelly walked in the door, and we immediately bonded over our mutual love for REM and other musical things. And she was originally from Connecticut, and she hated living in Florida as much as I hated living in Florida. So we both decided that it was a real good time to bust out of there and come back to CT. And she had this idea that she wanted to open up a record store. I thought, that's pretty cool. I work in a record store, I've got some retail experience, let's just do it. So we moved up and immediately started scouting around for locations, and the first one we found that we could actually afford and was kind of manageable was 20 Station Road in Brookfield, Connecticut. One of the things that excited me a lot about being here in Western Connecticut was the fact that there was a lot of live music going on. Like, you know, of course, the Anthrax, legendary club, and rightfully so. But even just the fact that Western Connecticut was like smack dab in the middle between Boston and New York City meant that bands were pretty much always passing through the area. In a lot of ways, it was just kind of dumb luck that we ended up opening when we did and where we did, because straight edge was just starting to kick off. In fact, the pivotal concert in Connecticut hardcore history as far as straight edge goes was when 7 Seconds played the Anthrax, I think the second or third time. And it just so happens that that show was the very night that we opened Trash American Style, November 29th of 1986. And every hardcore kid and every punk rock kid in all of Western Connecticut was at that show and came to the store the next day saying, got anything by 7 Seconds? Anything by Youth of Today? There had already been a really active and thriving hardcore scene in Connecticut for a long time before the Edge Kids came along, but it seems that those bands had either crested or were just about to crest, and that the new breed, so to speak, were really going to take things over. School would let out every day over at Brookfield High, like 2:30, and everybody would come on over to 20 Station Road to Trash American Style. A lot of time was spent waiting for the UPS truck to show up to see if the new Bold album had finally come out, or if the new Gorilla Biscuits record was it out yet? Is it out yet? It's been advertised in Maximum Rock and Roll since last December, and it's May now. Where is it? And, you know, kids coming down with their demo tapes and their, you know, freshly screen printed t-shirts and just hanging out and making the scene. It's kind of funny in that the store was just nonstop action all the time. Things were happening constantly that I wasn't necessarily aware of. I've had people say they met their spouses at my store. You know, they formed bands at the store. What blows my mind to this day is the sheer number of people who will come up to me and say, you know, you saved my life when I was in high school. You got me through high school. The record store was a place where people met, a place where people could just be, people of like mind, of similar interests, of similar philosophies and outlooks, or even different outlooks and philosophies. Like one of my most cherished moments at the store, and I wish I'd taken a picture of this, a totally random assortment. We had a couple of kids who were like diehard metalheads, a couple of straight edgers, a couple of deadheads, a couple of parents, some older dudes, all just randomly there, and they were all in like one section of the store just hanging out and talking. You don't see that in the real world. So to provide a forum like that, where anybody who had like sort of an underground viewpoint, or any viewpoint, could just hang out without pressure and exchange ideas and see and be seen and talk to the guy behind the counter. I mean, that was really important to what we were doing. One of the great ironies about running Trash American Style was that even though we dealt exclusively in material goods and in lots of material goods, it was never about the material goods. Like, dealing in material was strictly a means to an end. You know, having the material around was what enabled me to live the life that I wanted to live. Same thing for Kathy, too. I think she would tell you that it wasn't about having all this stuff, but using this stuff to meet new people and to be able to go new places and experience new things. The idea is still the same behind what I'm doing now, because wherever I go, people congregate. Whether it's at a school or a cool flea market, people notice, like, hey, wait, there's cool music over here. Because music really strikes a chord with people. It's universal. Conversations are struck up, people meet each other, connections are made, bonds are forged. It's just not as ongoing or permanent as it used to be with brick and mortar. In addition to the road work that we do have an internet presence. There's trashamericanstyle.us, which has the various links to our online stores, but the majority of what we do is real-life interaction with real human beings in the field, and I way prefer it that way. I hate the internet. I don't like selling online. There's no personality to it. It's not fun. Basically, nothing can replace the marketplace. The earliest gathering spot for human beings was the market. That's where people went to hear the news and to meet new people and have the thrill of the market. And nothing can replace that. I don't care what the cyber pundits say. I've never had a plan. I've never had a business plan or anything like that. I've always just decided that I was going to do whatever I needed to do to be happy. I sell records, but the records aren't my life. My life consists of the good things that I get from being able to hook people up with the music that they want and what they need, and being the conduit for that, which is why I've never viewed myself as a record seller. I'm just more of the conduit. I let it flow through me so that what people need can be had and they can get it, and I'm just the medium, and I like that, and I like the fact that I can walk away from it pretty much any time and just do whatever I want to do.
But I don't care a bit. Laughed at in the streets of my town. Their laughter hurts, but I will hold my ground. So hold your ground. So hold your ground. It's time to stand up for what you believe. Have no fear of the critics. Lead the life that you lead. It's hard to be yourself with all the pressure coming down. It takes a really strong person to hold your ground. So hold your ground. Hold your ground. Bust. Stand up for what you believe. Have no fear of the critics. Lead the life that you lead. You might be different from your friends, but if they're friends, they will understand. So hold your ground. Ragged but effective.